You see, if we exist inside the universe, which we do, we can't test, repeat, or observe things outside the universe.
You're right. Anything that exists outside of the universe is beyond current human understanding. This means that any claims about things that exist outside of the universe are merely baseless speculation. Your claim of the Judeo-Christian God existing beyond the understanding of science, watching our every move and preparing to judge us upon our death, is no more valid than any other claim made by any other religion, cult, or homeless man rambling atop a soapbox.
Well, again, since we exist inside the universe, the scientific method is not going to help us discover everything. There are some things the scientific method just can't approach.
And since these things cannot, by their very nature, be proven, they are irrelevant. Speculating about things that exist beyond the borders of our universe amounts to little more than mental masturbation.
Now, don't get me wrong. I really do like the things that the scientific method has produced. I do enjoy my PlayStation 3 and my television.
Although I'd like to keep this video as free from ad hominem arguments as possible, I would like to point out that given this massive HD TV, PS3, and a house that appears quite elegant, PCS appears to have been born into an upper middle class family. And yet, months ago, PCS went on camera and begged his subscribers to buy him a camera to support his ministry. You are a snake, Venomfangx. A selfish, narcissistic little snake. That is why people hate you.
So, someone very revered atheist here on YouTube who we're just going to call Mr. Foot. Mr. Foot said this: "My belief in God has never produced a PlayStation or a television or a cure for cancer or a cure for AIDS. Therefore, the scientific method must be superior to belief in God." Now, let's use that argument against a bunch of other things. Hitting golf balls into holes has never produced a television, a PlayStation 3, or a cure for anything. Therefore, we shouldn't play golf.
Hitting a golf ball into a hole has not led to inquisitions, witch trials, or genocide. Hitting a golf ball into a hole does not promote a worldview that embraces dogmatic ignorance and rejects science and reason. This is a ridiculous analogy, and you should be ashamed for using it.
Do I believe in God to help me make a PlayStation? Has people believed in God for thousands of years to help them make a television? Nope. And they've never claimed that that's why they believed in God. You see, people believe in God because there's a God. Isn't that such a novel idea? Oh, wow.
People believe in astrology because stars influence our lives. People believe in Scientology because we're covered in body thetans that need to be cleared. People believe in Allah because Allah exists. Isn't that a novel idea? Shame it doesn't hold up at all. Again, you should be ashamed.
But you see, Thunderfoot, he knows this. He knows this, but his audience of grade 4 students, they don't see past that, which is unfortunate, but that's why we're here trying to help them.
Actually, I suspect that you're trying to save face after the complete and utter public shaming you received at the hands of Dprjones, Coughlin666, and others. Yes, PCS, we've all seen those videos analyzing your character and attempting to gain insight into whatever personality disorder you may have, and your unwillingness to address them, aside from your pathetic and manipulative love video, is leading many of us here on YouTube to believe that Dprjones is onto something. But, moving on.
So, belief in God is not equivalent to the scientific method because they're totally different things.
Yes, one is a valuable tool for understanding our universe and improving the quality of our lives, and the other is a fictional sociopath in the sky who sends people like Gandhi and Einstein to hell for all eternity because he was jealous that they didn't believe in him. I'm glad we can agree.
You see, this is an awfully thick book to talk about something that you say doesn't exist. I mean, pretty thick. I mean, the writing is small. I mean...
Yeah, the Quran is a thick book with small print, too. So is Stephen King's The Stand. I don't see where you're going with this.
Atheistic atheism is really a worldview based on the lack of experience. You see, someone who, like me, who believes in God, we say we've experienced God, and that's why we believe in him. Whereas an atheist will come around and say, I've never experienced God, therefore, your experience must be invalid.
You're making the assumption that either your God exists or no God exists. This is called a false dichotomy. Just as you ignore the claims of Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, as well as the countless people in history who claim to have experienced the presence of thousands of other gods, we ignore your claims of experience. Every religion cannot be right, but they can all be wrong, and without extraordinary evidence lending credibility to one particular religion and its deity, it is logical to assume the latter.
Now, is lack of experience really a good way of establishing a worldview? Do you have a right to tell me that I didn't experience God because you haven't?
Does anybody remember a little video of PCS prancing about in a Halloween costume telling us that Allah is a lie from Satan and that Muslims have bought into this lie? Do you have any right to tell these Muslims that they have not experienced Allah just because you haven't?
Because that means he created the world, and that means he owns it, which means he has the right to judge it, which also means he has the right to tell us what to do. People don't like that idea, so they push God out of their thinking and make all these naturalistic explanations to things that simply don't have naturalistic explanations, such as the universe, the creation of life, planets, stars, and the experience of God and all.
Life, the formation of planets and stars, and even what is happening to a person's brain when they have a supposedly religious experience, all have perfectly sensible scientific explanations and do not require the existence of a God.
Some people say, show me evidence of God. And, that's what I've been doing on YouTube for 2 years.
Actually, you've been reusing discredited and laughable creationist arguments from convicted tax fraudster Kent Hovind, filing baseless DMCA claims, making a fool of yourself in Joker makeup, and generally being a narcissistic, manipulative little reptile.
Do you know everything? I mean everything. Do you know everything? No. Of course not. Do you know maybe half of everything there is to know? Probably not. Well, let's say you do. Let's say you do. We'll be generous and say you know half of everything. Is it possible that God exists in the half that you don't know? You certainly have to be open to that idea because you just don't know.
This pathetic argument did not convince Coughlin666 when you emailed it to him several days ago, and it's not going to convince anybody else either. Any number of ridiculous gods could, theoretically, exist outside of what we know. Fortunately, what we do know gives us plenty of evidence against the existence of the supernatural or paranormal.
Now, if that is true, okay, and if God exists in the half you don't know, then you better not come on YouTube or any medium proclaiming that there is no God or discouraging people from knowing God based on your lack of experience.
And now, cornered, PCS is resorting to empty threats against those who have dismantled his precious religion. Charming.
The Bible says, those who reject God and encourage others to reject God, your fate, the consequence of your actions, is going to result in a fate worse than you can possibly imagine. Eternal torment. Punishment.
Just as you do not feel threatened when a Muslim tells you that you must convert to Islam or suffer torment, no atheist is going to be converted out of fear of hell. Unless you can provide tangible evidence outside of your beloved holy book for the existence of your jealous, vengeful God, any claims you make about hell are simply empty threats. They carry no weight whatsoever.
So, if there's even a chance that there is a God, you better, if you're someone who likes to post videos that are anti-God, you'd better shut up, okay? And wait patiently, seek God and find him, rather than opposing God, because you have nothing to gain. You don't, but you have everything to lose.
No, PCS, you should shut up. Pascal's wager has been debunked so many times by so many people so much smarter than yourself. To rudely threaten those with opposing views is just like you, PCS. While you cling to your brainwashed followers, you know that more and more people on YouTube, atheist, Christian, or otherwise, see you for what you are. PCS goes on to recommend that all atheists on YouTube watch the Kent Hovind video, Lies in the Textbooks. Hovind's arguments for creationism have long since been debunked, and I encourage you not to waste your time on this video. Rather, I wholeheartedly recommend that you go and watch some of the videos I have listed to the right, which brilliantly explore PCS's character and shed some light on his natural and unhealthy mannerisms by comparing aspects of his behavior to the symptoms of various personality disorders.